Hello, dear friends. It's been a while. I've been very busy. I'm sorry about not making more updates more frequently. And since I'm telling you that almost each time that it's very busy and hard, I thought would make sense to tell you about what happened so far, to make a recap of the last years of the beginning of the journey so far. And so, yeah, let's start and begin with 2013. That's when we shot the Dreamlands preview, which became the campaign trailer for the crowdfunding. And the crowdfunding was in 2014 in spring/summer. So that's 3 years ago. And it was successful. And we plan to start production right after the creation of the rewards and shipping them out. So we wanted to start to shoot the film in 2015, 2 years ago. So what happened then? I had talks with people in the industry, and a lot of people told me, "Well, this looks so good. This project looks so professional that it would be a waste to let this opportunity to slip away and not trying to make this into a full budget professional production with well-known actors and a full budget where everyone who works on the film, who's part of the production, can earn his or her money." And so I explored that idea. I didn't really believe in it, since I'm not that fond of the German film industry, how it works, how it functions. Not so much a fan of the bureaucracy of the whole public film funding process. And the German film culture is very much catered to not to genre film audiences. Germany produces a lot of crime series and romantic comedies. And so I didn't feel that a Lovecraftian dark fantasy story could be successful in that environment. But I tried it and applied for the screenplay funding here in my region, Baden-Württemberg, and got through. They granted me that funding, and that happened in spring 2015. And so I had money to, the first thing is I could live from that budget and hire a script consultant with that money. And so the whole screenplay process started in 2015 in summer. And it took us more than a year, a year and a half to really think through everything from the beginning again. And we had a lot of different drafts. The story changed a lot around. I mean, the core of the movie is still the same. So the teaser trailer that we shot in 2013 and showed you in 2014 is still correct. We still have that the strange high house at the cliff. And we still have the old man, we still have that young boy, and they still travel to the dreamland. So that's still incorporated. That's the core of the story. That's still there. But around that, a lot of things changed, and I learned much about the screenplay writing process. Learned about refining everything and making everything better with each draft, with each version. I could add some percentage of quality, I think, and the end result is from my perspective, amazing. And maybe there is still head space to even raise the bar again 1 or 2%. But I think we're there right now, and this is ready to be made. Yeah, so that was the process. In 2015 took us to write and furnish out till the end of 2016. So that's 1 year ago. And what's happened during that process? I wasn't only sitting there and writing all the time. I also knew that I would have to, was trying to get in touch with the industry. Not only with the German film industry, also with the international film industry. And so we applied with the DREAMLANDS at the genre film co-production market in Montreal in Canada. That's part of the Fantasia Film Festival, one of the biggest genre film festivals in the world. And again, we were successful and were invited to be there. So we got to meet a lot of people. I also went to the Berlinale Film Festival, to the film market there, and also to Cannes. So had the opportunity, thanks to you again, to learn a lot about the film industry, how it works, to learn to get to know a lot of people, a lot of production companies, and to learn about their different strategies and in which direction they are dreaming and hoping to expand, and which genres are trendy right now, and yeah, well, the whole financing process, I could learn about that, and yeah, was very insightful. But at the end of that process, which is also around, I think it was the end of 2016 too. So it was really in parallel to the screenplay writing process. In the end, I didn't have the feeling that something would come out of that. Oh, it's not true. It's not the end of 2016. Actually, the moment when I kind of lost the faith in that approach was more like spring 2016. Spring 2016. That was after the Frontier co-production market in Brussels. So they did have two markets, one in Canada and one in Belgium. So that's their leg, and in Europe to connect the North American and the European film industry. And we did go there. I think it was the third time we went there. Yeah, and we've been in talks with a couple of companies and got praise for the screenplay, but didn't really see that someone is bold enough to step forward and say, yeah, let's do this, and let's get this finance, and let's start this whole production process, this whole financing process. Let's start to cast, to approach actors and get the cast that you need for such a film, and to get the budget. To explain that is that the genre film industry, mostly the people you meet there at that market are independent producers. So they are not, you shouldn't think of people like, it's not a studio like Disney or something like that, which has millions and billions of budgets, possible budgets. So we're talking of smaller production companies that have created small but very successful genre films, and they're looking for the next big thing. And the DREAMLANDS is a sophisticated, ambitious project, and the whole Lovecraft thing is not tested yet. We haven't seen a bigger film that is based on H.P. Lovecraft's work yet in theaters, and it has an innovative, non-standard screenplay structure. And me, I'm from Germany. I'm not a native speaker. I'm not well known in the North American industry at all. I'm not even well known in the German film industry, and so. A lot of question marks there. So it's not something that a producer would suddenly grab instantly and say, yeah, let's do this. So they had their question marks and issues, and so nothing happened from that, out of that corner. Some producers told me it would make sense to not to only sit there and wait, because they know how it works. The film industry is kind of slow, especially for projects like this. And so probably you've heard those stories of great films that you saw, which were innovative and fresh and not the standard stuff. And if you read the interviews or see the video interviews with those filmmakers, they often tell you that it took years to get this financed. It took years to convince people that this screenplay is worthwhile to pursue. And so I knew, well, I can't wait too long because of you waiting for the project, but I knew maybe we can wait 1 year more and let's see what's going to happen from that from those talks. And so a couple of producers told me, do that, wait for new reactions, and you will get to know new people in the process. And they told me it would make sense, maybe it would make sense to shoot something new in the meantime. Nothing too big, nothing too elaborate, just something to show people that that I'm not just sitting there and waiting for something to happen, to show that I'm active, that I'm creative and creating new stuff. And maybe it's something that would convince those who are not, 100% sure that I'm the right director, if they like the screenplay. Sometimes I got the response, yes, it's a great screenplay, but we think we would have to get some more experienced and well-known director into this project to get it financed. We can't get it financed with someone who is a no-name. And so maybe this small project could convince them. And so we're talking about a short film, which is the normal standard strategy of almost all filmmakers. It's not normal to go out and shoot a feature. Normally you shoot a short or make a very short series, a web series, to draw some attention and to show off your talent and your taste and your style. And that's what a couple of producers told me. And I was thinking about that. And since in spring 2016, I wasn't so sure about this whole professional way, this whole professional film industry, film financing strategy. But why not? What would be there something that I could make that is not too big and would be like a perfect showcase and could propel us, this project, the Dreamlands, to the next level, maybe? Well, then I had one idea. It's a dream project next to H.P. Lovecraft's The Dreamlands. It's another feature film that I would love to do at some point. And so I thought and said to myself, well, why not make a short film that is like a prequel to that film? So we did that. The unfortunate part of that is that it was clear for us at that point of time. It's not a small project, and maybe we underestimated how much effort and work has to go into that. But decisions like that, the decision was made based on the passion. It's the same thing with the Dreamlands too. I mean, as I just told you, a lot of people in the industry who have read the screenplay, a lot of people are saying to me that it's one level too big for where I am right now in the situation. It's one level too hard for them to get it financed, to get it through with the executives and their superiors and so on. And maybe that's one of my traits. Maybe this is the way I work, and maybe a bit too ambitious and maybe a bit too naive about things like that. But that's maybe the downside. But the upside is that, and why am I choosing projects like the Dreamlands or the short film that we shot in late summer of 2016? Because I am passionate about them. Because I know this is a film that I'm so much in love with, so much passionate about, that I will do everything to get it done. So there's a high guarantee that it will be completed at some point. It will be made and completed, and I think it raises the chances that it's good. I mean, just from my perspective and from the perspective of people who are passionate about the same kind of storytelling, the same themes. I mean, in this case, the Dreamlands. Obviously, if you are a Lovecraft fan, obviously this is the best approach. If the director and the screenplay writer is a huge fan of H.P. Lovecraft, then you as a H.P. Lovecraft fan, I mean, it's not a guarantee. I can't guarantee that you will like the Dreamlands, but the chances are very high. Yes, and that's why I've been so busy, we as a team, since late summer 2016. And the funny thing is that just a couple of months after that, now we're moving to the next chapter in this journey, just a couple of months after shooting that short film, suddenly it looked like it was unnecessary that we have shot it, because I think it was November 2016, we suddenly had a producer, a German American, Academy Award winner for Nowhere in Africa. He read the screenplay and he liked it, he loved it. He wanted to work with me as the director and had investors in mind that could be interested in a film like that. And so we started a whole new journey there. In parallel to working on the short film, editing it, I was discussing with him, with the producer, and the investors from China, discussing how we could make this happen. And we're talking about the screenplay and some changes here and there, and about the whole production process. If you are making a co-production with Chinese producers, in terms of which actors would work for both film markets, in terms of shooting locations, because you are obliged to shoot a part of the film, a fraction of the film in mainland China, and in this case, that was easy to solve, because with the Dreamlands we are able to tell exotic and beautiful landscapes. I mean, we need those landscapes. We could totally only make it in Europe, but the opportunity to go to China and shoot some of the scenes there was amazing. To look look at all the locations that are available there, and to think about it, and to make plans and to apply for the whole financing process in China. And so that was again very, very, very insightful. Learned a lot about the Chinese filmmaking way, the film industry there too. And unfortunately, what I mentioned in the last update, I think it was the last update, it didn't turn out that we could make it happen with them. There was a point in time when they had to commit themselves in earnest, and to transfer a part of the money that they have they wanted to commit into the project, so that we can start the whole application process. So this is more for people who know some things about the film funding system here in Europe, you have it's public money, so you have to apply for it, and you have dates scattered around the full year. It depends. It depends on the region and the country. You have also the European film funding on top of the national and the regional film funding, and each of those departments, they have their own application dates. So you have to meet the deadline. And we had the structure how we could finance this film, part with Chinese investors, part of it the crowdfunding and crowd investing from us, and also a big part from the public funding system, which is the normal way how you make films here in Europe. And we had to apply for the money. We had to meet the deadline if we wanted to make the film, to shoot the film as planned, the plan was to shoot it in late 2017, which is this year. Yes, it was planned to shoot this year. It was planned to shoot it in September or October. And so we had to meet the deadline in spring this year, which was, I think it was May. Yeah, in May we had to meet the first very important deadline. And our Chinese partners didn't fulfill the agreement, and so we knew that it's not going to happen. So we never really. I mean, I'm not talking directly to those producers on the Chinese investors on the Chinese side. So I can only repeat what I heard from my producer. But as far as I know, I don't know why exactly they got cold feet and decided not to fulfill their part of the agreement. So yeah, I don't really know why. As already explained in the last update, I think there are several couple of reasons, and it's not unsimilar to those talks that we had before the whole thing with the Chinese co-production possibility started. Again, to repeat that, I'm not a well-known director, and it's H.P. Lovecraft. It's uncharted territory, it's untested, and especially for China, we can also again see that dark fantasy films in that region, it's kind of risky to do that because it's something new. I mean, that's why me as a filmmaker, me as a creative person, that's why I want to make those films, because it is new and it is innovative and it's fresh. But if you talk with people who, and I can understand that, are managing a lot of money, and they can lose that money, and they have to, they have superiors, so they have executives on top of them, above them. So they start to get frightened and start to get concerned about things, and suddenly you see more concerns than the feeling that you had at the beginning when you read the screenplay. And you know, that's the whole usual film business stuff, and it's happening to a lot of creatives out there, so I'm not the only one. And I guess that's the thing that happened here with our Chinese partners, almost partners, too. Yeah, so in parallel to that, at the same time, I was editing the short film, and that proved to be quite difficult too. Yeah, to tell you, the whole editing process only was finished just a couple of days ago. I think so. I think so that it's completed now. And why took it me so long? Well, one thing is I was busy with other stuff, as I just told you. The other thing is that this short film, not only that it's bigger than we thought it would be in terms of how much work has to go into it, in terms of the visual effects. I will get to that later on. But also the storytelling is again similar to the Dreamlands. it's yeah, let's say it experimental. It's something that is not the standard way of telling a story. So I'm trying to do something here that at least I haven't done before, and so I was struggling quite a while to get a grasp on the story. I was always confident and happy with the results that I had throughout this year, but similar to the screenplay process, just a couple of months, a couple of weeks later on, there was a new idea, a new way to fix some things and to make it better. And then again, going back and realizing, oh no, this is not making it better. Maybe it's making it worse. Maybe we should try something else. And well, you will maybe understand if when it's coming out. And yeah, I will get back to the little side project later on, because there's a third thing now coming into play, which I haven't mentioned yet, and I think I haven't mentioned it at all. It's in the Dreamlands updates, because I was thinking it's not something that is very interesting for you, because it does really nothing to do with the Dreamlands. This little side project has something to do with the Dreamlands, because as told, it's meant to push me forward as a director and position me better and show off talent and draw some attention and so on. But this the other thing, not so much, and it is another screenplay funding. I received it in summer 2016, so we're going back now, and I was learning a lot about the screenplay process, and that helped me to tackle on that the other story, and which is a martial arts drama. It's about the Vietnamese martial arts called Vô Vi Nam, and it plays. The setting is Berlin, and Berlin is the only city in the world where you have around the same number of ex-communist Vietnamese, because they got into the German Democratic Republic, and after the wall fell, they, not all of them, some of them could stay, some of them got into the country again illegally, and so they could stay as immigrants. And the other part is from the West Vietnamese people, the former South Vietnamese people who fled the country after the war was lost against the communist North, which is the story of my parents, of my family. And there's never been a film about these communities here in Germany, which are still in a state of conflict. But I didn't want to make a film, like a typical German film, to make a social drama out of it. It has to be something that I really have to love. And then I thought about, why not being so crazy and connect this whole historic thing with the martial arts genre? What if you bring in people who are fighting? And that's what I pitched. And this time wasn't the regional funding board. The Ministry for Culture and Media here in Germany. So this is another level, which is not the regional level, it's the national funding level. And I was very happy to see and to realize, to see that they granted me this opportunity, because they decided positively. And that was in spring 2016. In summer 2016. And at first I was very happy and amazed about that decision, because I really didn't see that coming. I mean, we just talked about it. It's martial arts. It's not about Germans so much. It's about Vietnamese people. So you have a lot of Vietnamese dialogue in it. It's really, it just came out of nowhere for me. And so I was happy about it first, but at the same time, well, I already decided then to make this little side project. And yeah, then, I mean, I don't want to complain. It's just, there's a burden of being busy and maybe losing focus. So I couldn't really start writing that screenplay. We were shooting in late summer 2016, and then as I already told you, in November we met our producer and we started the collaboration with him and started to get to know the Chinese partners and started to work with them, which took us the whole time till May 2017. So I couldn't really invest a lot of time into that new screenplay. And to tell you this, I mean, I just told you that I thought it wouldn't be connected with the Dreamlands directly, but now in hindsight, sure, it is, I think, an interesting information for you. And I mean, most of you, or almost all of you, never heard about that martial arts project. Yeah, sure, it's taking away some time and focus, but you know, sometimes it's good not to stare on one screenplay the whole time, because if you're working on something else, maybe you get some inspiration, some ideas that can float into the other screenplay process. And it's just good for the brain sometimes, you know, not to focus too narrowly on one thing. The downside, sure, it is that that there's not enough time maybe for the other projects if you have to pursue that one. But I decided to put the focus on the Dreamlands and the short film at the beginning, because the good thing is that the national film funding grants you 2 years to complete the first draft of the screenplay. So that was really good to know. It was good to know that I didn't have to write it immediately and pull all the energy out of those other projects. That was very good. And the other thing, which is maybe important for you to know, is the good thing that comes with it is that, well, it's money again. And that money was the same thing with the Dreamlands screenplay, helps me to survive. I mean, maybe some of you were asking yourselves, what is this Huan Wu guy doing with our money, and how is he surviving? And I think that's something that I didn't have on my radar, that it may be important to tell you. That's how I survive. That's how I survived the last 2 years. The first year, thanks to the screenplay funding for the Dreamlands, and the next year, I mean, it's more than 1 year. It's enough for more than a year to survive. Yeah, and then the second screenplay funding, that's what I'm living off till now. And also it helped to co-finance the short film. That's another thing that I think was mentioned in last updates, but maybe to make it clear again, we are not using 1 cent or €1 from the crowdfunding or the crowd investing. Everything that went into the short film is money provided by me and by Jan, the co-producer, who also produced Die Farbe with me, and is the lead 3D artist in Die Farbe and now in Eternal War, and will be in the Dreamlands too. So yeah, just to make that clear. Yeah, so I think now you grasp that it was very busy all the time for me, which is not a bad thing again. It's good it's much better at least than idling. It's much better than just sitting there, which is horror, just to wait for something, like, you know, waiting for the shining white knight appearing before you with a couple of $1 million in his pockets and saying to you, yeah, let's make this film, let's make it happen. I think it can drive you crazy, and a lot of filmmakers are suffering because it takes so much time sometimes to get your film made, to get your vision through. and it's good to have other things to work on and to stay creative and stay active. But yeah, well, it makes it's busy, and you're busy then, and you're not making as many updates maybe as you should. Yeah, and to finish that, the screenplay for the martial arts drama is now completed too, because this summer I started to write it, to develop it further, and in fall, so just a couple of months ago, I kind of had a suddenly I think it's for all screenplay writers the same thing. At some point of time, you are struggling with what you're doing, you're struggling with the story and the structure, with the characters, and you feel that, well, it's really tedious, it's not developing very quickly, and it's not so much fun. It takes a lot of time to write just one page and then another page, and you're not really happy with how it develops. But then this fall, there was the turn of the tide, and suddenly everything went into place and all the pieces fit together. And it was very quickly. It just took me, I think, 2 weeks or 3 weeks to put it through and rework it again, to make the first part fit to the second part. It was really the second half of the film was written very, very quickly, and so I had to go back to the first half of the film and change some things there. And now we have another very good screenplay. It's not finished because I know the process now. It's just the beginning of the process. So it will happen the same thing with the same thing that happened with the Dreamlands. That there will be new drafts, and with each draft there will be an improvement there. I hope so. And at the end of that process, there will be hopefully another screenplay that should be made as quickly as possible. Well, but that's for the far future. So it's not something that I'm putting a lot of focus on now. It's something that will be made alongside the post-production of the short film. So now we're getting back to that. And that's what the most important thing is right now. We have to get the short film finished. We have to complete it. And as told, it became something that is bigger than initially planned. Jan told me just a couple of days ago that now he thinks that the visual effects that we're doing for the short film are much more, or just a bit more, but they are more complicated than everything we are planning to do in the Dreamlands. So that's just for you a glimpse to understand and grasp what we are dealing with here. It's something that, in hindsight, it's not easy to get this finished. Just one thing, we just one example. We need digital fire in our film. So now you know there is a digital fire, and the artist that wanted to make that can't work on that anymore. So we need additional visual effects artists now to complete all those very complicated and complex shots. The good thing is that the editing process is completed now, and the short film isn't a short film anymore, which is not my idea. A couple of friends who are directors too saw rough cuts and proposed that suggestion to me, and I was fighting that for quite a while, but in the end I agreed and saw that it's the better solution to transform the short film. It's not a short film anymore, to transform the short film into a 3-part web series. That's going to happen now, and the first episode is planned to be completed till late January. Maybe it's the beginning of February, but we're not talking about a lot of time. We are almost finished, and there are just a couple of complicated visual effects shots that have to be made, but I think we will get there in time. And maybe now it's also the moment to tell you the title of the project. It's Eternal War, and what it's about, because that was a secret all the time. And maybe you ask yourselves, why isn't he telling us anything about this little side project, so that we just at least know what the story is and what the setting is, what kind of genre it is. It is taking place in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. And if you know me, or just a bit of something about me, maybe you know that I made a Warhammer 40k fan film, which was my first feature film. It's called Damnatus. And yeah, I was talking about passion and about how much love you feel towards a project, what keeps you going as an artist, at least how it works for me. And yeah, I'm still a huge fan of the Warhammer 40k universe. And so I, when I was thinking about what could we make as a short film to show off talent and ambition and so on, and what am I passionate about? Sure, we were thinking about making a H.P. Lovecraft short film, but I didn't have, at that point of time, a good idea. I mean, we had great ideas for a feature film, obviously. It's not so easy to go and to create a short version of your feature film. In this case, it's not possible. Make a prequel for that feature film. In this case, I just found no solution, nothing that I was really passionate about. But we made the Dreamlands preview. That should be enough. And a lot of other producers, again, our producer, which we worked with in the end, he was one of those who said, that's definitely enough. I mean, we put money into that Dreamlands teaser trailer, and it shows the style of the film, it shows where we want to go, it shows what we're capable of. Why should we go out and shoot another, Dreamlands preview? That wouldn't really make sense. And we were also thinking about other Lovecraft stories, the classic horror stories, adapting one of those and so on. But I mean, that's why I wanted to make the Dreamlands, because we were, back then, after Die Farbe, after The Color Out of Space, we were reading through all the H.P. Lovecraft stories, and were looking for something that we are falling in love with, and where we see the potential to make something out of it. And it didn't make click. And in this case, again, it didn't make click with. And very quickly, and to tell that story, I mean, let's make it short. There were rumors at that point of time. We were talking about spring 2016. There were rumors. I heard about those, that a big Warhammer 40k movie might be in the financing, might be in the works, with big Hollywood players attached. Just rumors. And I thought, I know that I'm a big fan of it. So the passion thing is clear. And hearing about those rumors, I was thinking a bit of, strategically, in terms of tactics, that it might make sense to make a short film that's taking place in the Warhammer 40k universe. Because if after around a year, a big 40k movie would be announced and would be shooting, it would be great to have a short film coming out with the same universe. Just to draw even more attention to that, and maybe you get in talks with those people who are trying to finance and make the big film. I don't know. It's not something that is you can plan or really expect something to happen, but it's just a nice thing that's, you know, okay, something else is maybe happening there, and if we do this, maybe there's going to be some reaction or not. And yeah, the main thing is the passion thing, but knowing about this also helped to make the decision. But as we all know now, nothing happened, at least as far as I know. There are no plans for 40K film. Maybe it will be announced next year, I don't know. But now I am announcing that that there's going to be something from me that's and that's also a nice thing, to go back to something that you already did and that you are not, you know, totally happy with. I mean, Donatus was quite amateurish. It was my first feature film, and it was just being a kid coming from high school, even before studying at university, and just collecting and gathering your friends and people you don't know yet but are passionate about the Warhammer 40K universe, and let's shoot a movie together. And that's 14 years ago now. 14, yeah. We shot it in 2003. And yeah, it's been a while, and I have developed as a filmmaker, and so I see it as an opportunity, not only to show off some talent, maybe, and my style and the way I make movies, but also to show how much I developed as an artist. I think that's maybe interesting for a producer to see too. Oh, this guy made this film 14 years ago, and now he's doing this. Just to see the progress there is maybe interesting. For me, definitely it is interesting to see. I wanted to see, what am I doing with the same material now in comparison to what were my silly or bad ideas that I had 14 years ago, when I didn't have the experience that I have now. And so, yeah, that's the reason why I chose that project. I'm not 100% sure that if it was worthwhile or wise to make Eternal War. I mean, not only that it is Warhammer 40K, also because of the visual effects, post-production, and so on. And yeah, the whole burden of now completing it, because it will take some time to get it finished. It took energy, it took obviously money and time. But I think, and I still hope that you are going to like it. Even if you're not familiar with the Warhammer 40K universe, it is going to be dark, and it's going to be Lovecraftian. Not everything is Lovecraftian, but there are parts in it that are definitely Lovecraftian, because, as some of you maybe know, Warhammer 40K, parts of it are definitely inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, I would say. So yeah, I'm not really sure if something or anything will come out of this little side project called Eternal War. We're going to see it. We just have to complete it. It would make no sense at all, after all the effort that we put into it, now to abandon it. We have to complete it, and maybe give it a bit of time to see if there are going to be some reactions in the film industry that may help us with the Dreamlands. And if not, well, as promised, we are going to shoot the film next year. I would say September, October 2018. That's when the first shooting period, the first part of the shooting will take place. Well, and that's it. That's the whole journey so far. And I have to say thank you, because despite being so busy, I'm happy with that. I'm so happy to have that opportunity, and that's because of you. If you wouldn't have decided to support me and support this project and want this project, I don't know what I would do now. I don't know what would have happened. Now I know what I have to do. I know what I'm fighting for, and all the other things that happened. I think everything is connected to the Dreamlands, and the other screenplay funding, this short film that became a web series, The Eternal War. All of that is connected to your decision back in 2014 when you decided to give me this chance. And I would say, I say thank you. And I guess, probably one of the most important things in life is to have purpose, to feel purpose. And that's what I'm doing. And so thank you so much. And let's look forward to a very exciting 2018. I hope you had happy holidays and that you will enjoy the festivities. See you in the new year.